What's going on, guys? Camber F1 here, or is it Camber F1? I think it's Camber F1. Today we're doing something a little different. Usually we'd give a sort of edited video on something that is going on in the world of F1, but today I thought we'd take it to the next level. And so me and Swinners have actually decided to share our predictions for the 2021 season. If you'd like to just introduce yourself.
Yep, so I'm Swinners. I do most of the voice overlays for the videos, and also the co-founder of Camber, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm excited for this video. It should be good.
Yeah, it's going to be quite good. We're really just here to have a laugh, so take anything we say with a pinch of salt, because it is F1, obviously. Anything can happen. Swinners, would you like to get started with yours first? We'll have a wee look at what you think can happen this season.
So I'm going to start with the Drivers' Championship. P20, I put Nikita Mazepin in the Haas.
Not a surprise. Not a surprise.
No, he's not that great, is he? Let's be real.
Yeah.
P19, I put Nicholas Latifi.
All right.
I think he's pretty standard. And his car's obviously improving, but I mean, be interesting to see how he does. And then P18, I've got Mick Schumacher.
Right.
I think the Haas are going to struggle this season, especially with two rookies. So, and then P17, I put Antonio Giovinazzi.
All right.
Just a bit standard, isn't he?
Yeah. Not too much of a big name. Kind of just sits in the back.
Yeah.
If you ask me. Yeah.
All right. This is the first controversial one.
All right.
P16, I put Yuki Tsunoda.
Okay. P16.
I feel like I put him too low. But
yeah, that is a bit low, but yeah, explain
it
your
is.
reasoning.
I feel like he's not quite ready for F1. I think he maybe need another season in F2 just to.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, so I think he's going to struggle slightly, but I think he'll do all right for a rookie.
Yeah. All right.
P15, I've got George Russell. I think he's going to have a good season, seeing as he's in Williams. Yeah, I think I'm hoping he's going to get some good points for a change for Williams, which would be good.
All right.
P14, I've got Kimi Räikkönen. He's coming to the end of his career, and he's in a good. P14 is pretty good for an Alfa Romeo.
Actually, yeah, it is if you think about it.
Yeah, I maybe should have swapped him with Yuki Tsunoda, but oh well. P13 is my second controversial one. I've got Fernando Alonso.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's past his time. Well, obviously he has, because obviously he's championship. But I think he's just not going to be that great compared to his teammate and others in the midfield. And that's what I put in P12. I put Esteban Ocon, his teammate. I think he's going to be better than Fernando, but I think he's still not going to be that great.
All right, yeah. Then fair enough, fair reason.
P11, I've got Pierre Gasly. I think he's going to do okay in his car, but I think he's going to struggle some parts of the season, much like the season we just had.
Yep.
But then P10, I've put Carlos Sainz. Slightly controversial, but
bit controversial,
I think, new team. I think I'm not sure. Unsure how the Ferrari's going to do this season. Who knows? So and it's also a new team for him, new surroundings. So I think it's going to be slightly difficult for him to adapt. But I think he'll do all right. I reckon he's going to get a podium as well. I'm hoping he's going to get some podiums.
He is going to get a podium, because Ferrari cannot stay like this back marker sort of team for long. They'll have to improve at some point. But yeah.
Yeah. And in P9, I've got the first of the Aston Martins. I've put Lance Stroll.
All right.
Decent actually P9. Seeing as I've put him outscoring a Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. So I mean, and both Alpines / Renaults, whatever you want to call them. And P8, I've put Lando Norris.
All right.
I think he's gonna have an alright season, but nothing too special, I don't think.
Yeah.
Then P7, I put Sebastian Vettel. I think I don't really know how Aston Martin are going to do. Are they going to be very quick, or are they just going to be just a standard midfield team? I don't know. So I've put him in P7, and then in P6 I put Charles Leclerc, outscoring his teammate quite heavily. But it's to be expected. Is Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
So, P5 I put Sergio Perez.
All right. Okay.
We all know he's a very good driver. New team though, so we're not sure how he's going to do in a top team. We'll have to wait and see. But then P4 I've put Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay.
I think he's going to do well in McLaren this season. Obviously with a Mercedes powered engine as well. I think they're going to be really quick this season, and he's going to score. I'll score Sergio Perez. Which
I think it's quite popular. Everyone's sort of saying the same thing, that Ricciardo's just going to go into that McLaren and absolutely dominate the midfield. So yeah, I mean that's something I'd like to see. So hope it happens.
Yeah, same. And going into the top three, in P3 I put Valtteri Bottas.
P3, okay.
Yep. He's just not the same standard as Lewis and Max, is he?
I mean, he narrowly avoided Verstappen last season. So
yeah, exactly. And I think Max is going to have a more consistent season in 2021. So I expect Valtteri won't be in second. He'll be in third. And for that reason, I've put Max Verstappen in P2
and Hamilton in P1.
Yeah. So I've put Max in P2. I think he's going to outperform his Red Bull, to be honest. He's going to have a good season. Definitely going to be more consistent, I expect, with more podiums, maybe a couple more wins. But yeah, I think he's going to have a decent season. And then P1, obviously Lewis Hamilton, going to get the 8th World Championship, which is I can't wait to see personally, mainly because I'm a Lewis fan. But yeah, okay.
I mean, like it or not,
I think
we're witnessing history, so it'll be quite good to see happen. Yeah,
it will. Yeah. So moving on to my constructors standings.
All right, let's hear it.
P10 I put Haas mainly because they're not very good, and they've got two rookies. They got two rookies, so
they're not
gonna do great.
They've got
P9 I put Williams. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what can you do? P9 I put Williams. I think they're gonna do all right with obviously Russell's building up pace. The car's getting better, so I think they're definitely gonna score some points this season. Then a P8 I put Alfa Romeo. Pretty standard. P7 AlphaTauri.
Yep.
I think they're not going to quite be as strong as they were the season we just had in 2020, but I think 2021 they're going to do all right, scoring some points, some good points. But I think most of the time they're going to be around P13, P14 in the races and stuff. That's how I'm expecting them to be.
Okay. All right.
Then P6 I've put Alpine. It's like their driver lineup's decent. To be fair, they got Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. It's hard to tell how well.
It's just the whole idea of Alonso. Will he actually perform or not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he's good, then I would probably put him up a little bit more. But it's so hard to tell, and obviously with it all rebranding, the whole jig of the changing around of the team, obviously. Cyril leaving, all that kind of stuff, it could all go down the drain, so who knows. But P5 I've put Ferrari. I think they're gonna have a slightly better season than last year, but it's just it's so hard. You don't know if they're focusing on next season or not. Like they could be focusing on the new regs for all we know. And I mean, it's a P4 I've put Aston Martin. So yeah, I think they're going to do decent. They got a decent driver lineup. Would have preferred it to have been Perez instead of Stroll, but at least Perez got the Red Bull seat, so it's all good. But I think they're going to do. I think they're going to do good. Obviously, it's going to be a green Mercedes this year.
Yeah,
I think.
No more pink Mercedes.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I wonder if they're going to be maybe fighting for that P3, maybe even P2 with Red Bull. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. And then P3 put McLaren. I think they're gonna step it up again this year. maybe even going for that P2 with fighting with Red Bull. I don't know, but with that Mercedes power unit, I expect they're going to be very quick.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they can do. And then P2, I've put Red Bull. Kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to hang on to it, but I think they've got two good, solid drivers that are consistent. So I expect they should be getting good results in week after week. And then P1 Mercedes again. They're just really quick.
Yeah, with no changes
anyone can
coming
do.
into this season either, I doubt like the order is going to change that much either. It's really just a matter of the drivers changing around. That's it.
Yeah. So okay. Moving on to underdog of the season.
All right, let's hear it.
I've put George Russell.
Okay.
I think people think that the Williams is going to be so slow and stuff, but it's quick. It's good. It'll be better than it was in previous years, obviously. But yeah, I expect he will be getting some points this year, which will be good to see.
Same.
Now, biggest rivalry. I've put Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez fighting for that P5 spot.
That's actually a good show, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them fight it out for P4/P5 in the championship. Hopefully, that's what I'm expecting. Then disappointment of the season, I'm going to put Fernando Alonso because people they have high expectations because he's a two-time world champion or whatever.
Yeah,
but I think he's past his prime, all that kind of stuff. Couldn't qualify for the Indy 500, so is he really any good anymore?
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't know, but. Yeah, right. I'll let you do yours.
All right, okay. Well, let's get right into it. So, starting for the driver standings, P20, Mazepin, obviously. Yep. The guy doesn't bring a good work ethic into the team, and everyone hates him. So, that's not surprised. P19, Latifi as well. I feel like he's getting better as a driver, but along with the Williams package, I don't think he's gonna. He'll have a few good races, but it won't be enough to move him up the order, I feel. In P18, we have Schumacher. Bit weird seeing his name down there, but you have to remember he is a rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
He only has he has 2 seasons in F2, but it is worth mentioning that the Haas car, it just isn't that fast. So he's definitely not going to have that much of a package to work with for the season.
Yeah, exactly.
P17, I've put Raikkonen. I feel like he has speed. It is. If you saw the Turkish GP start, that was definitely a good example. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the guy's had an amazing career, but it is coming to the end of his career. I feel like he has stayed in F1 past his exit door, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, you can't expect him to be challenging for P10. So I feel like Raikkonen's going to be P17. P16, I've put Giovinazzi. I feel like he'll show himself more as a driver, mainly because he's been with Alfa Romeo for 2 seasons now, and I'd say at the end of the season he was kind of showing pace. It wasn't that much of a difference, but like I kind of saw it. P15, I've put Russell, George Russell. I feel like. If you saw how good his season was last season, the amount of progress he's making with that Williams, consistently putting it up into Q2. Add that to the fact that Haas might not have a good car this season, and that Alfa Romeo might stay where they are. Then Russell's definitely going to push the Williams car up into higher positions and maybe even get himself a few points finishes. P14, I've put Yuki Tsunoda. Similar to your reason, he has, I feel, been rushed into F1. If you look at his history, he has only spent 1 year in every feeder category.
That's ridiculous.
This may be due to the fact that he's really fast, in which case he could be much higher up, maybe like a Charles Leclerc kind of story, or he has just been rushed into it. I feel like it just doesn't sound normal to be in F1. And 4 years ago you were in F4, so yeah, exactly. So I respect the guy, but I don't feel he's gonna do that well. P13, I've put Alonso. Again, similar to your reason, he has spent 2 years out of Formula One. In the other categories which he was in, he was not performing up to standard. So can we really say he's going to come into 2021 and then suddenly be putting it on P3, P4? Dare I say even P5? Like, I don't think he's going to push it the same as Ricardo did last season. So P13 for Alonso, P12 I put Gasly. Now this may be a bit controversial because he won last season and he was doing quite well. He had a really good season last season. But is that saying that all that success came without luck? I would say that while he did have a lot of speed, it is worth saying that he got his position last season because of a wee bit of luck here and there that managed to get him that win.
Yeah.
It may be a bit controversial, but I doubt he's going to have the same winning mentality heading into this season. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be sitting back, waiting for that chance to get back in the Red Bull, which is seeming ever so unlikely now that Perez and Verstappen are both cemented into there. So that may take a bit of a hit on his confidence. Because if he's like, I just won with an AlphaTauri and I'm still not being promoted, then that might do something to your confidence. So, P12 for Gasly, P11 Ocon. Ocon kind of just sat in the background. He didn't really do much that was that impressive last season. We didn't really do anything that was that like bad either. He was kind of just an average driver. So I'd say he hovers around the sort of around the halfway point. P10 I've put Stroll. I feel like Stroll will come to build himself more as a driver, and he's got like a really big future ahead of him. But I don't think he's going to be able to absolutely challenge for points and wins the same way he was doing last season. Maybe, but I don't think so. That's my prediction. P9 I've put Sainz. Now, first of all, we should consider that Vettel finished P13 last season. I think it was. So P9 for Sainz is quite good. I'd say if we were going to continue with the same car from last season. The reason I'm putting Sainz in P9 is mainly because he's changing teams again. From his usual vibe at McLaren, he's switching to a more like serious and kind of heartless team in Ferrari. I don't think that's going to work well with him.
No,
I really don't. Like, if you hear Vettel's engineer, he has no emotion, right? So, I don't think that's going to work well with Sainz. But maybe the speed in the car might be able to get something out of him. P8, I've put Vettel. Yeah. I feel like Vettel will need at least one season to get used to this new team. He has to clearly be, after Perez, the longest to stay at his team before moving. Clearly he's got some work to like do. He's got to like get used to his new environment. So I've put Vettel P8. Leclerc P7. I feel like he's gonna have another strong season. Strong season as in outperforming his machinery. So P7 for Leclerc. P6 I'm gonna put Norris. Norris was performing quite well last season, and I feel like he's gonna take that to the next level and help McLaren help McLaren get higher up in the constructors. P5. I've put Ricciardo. Now everyone is saying Ricciardo is going to come in and destroy the competition with the McLaren. You do have to also take into account he is changing teams. If you took into account in Renault, the first season of Renault, he had similar expectations and he didn't perform. Mainly not to his fault, but also to the car's fault. He didn't perform as well as he thought he would in that Renault car. So while I'm not saying he's going to have a disappointing start to the season, I'm saying he's not going to be I'm saying he's not going to be annihilating everyone. He's going to be there. I'd say he'd perform to the same level as Sainz for at least the first few races, and then maybe at the end of the season start getting onto his grips. But so that's why P5 for Ricciardo. P4, I've put Bottas. Now, Now I feel Bottas is unfortunately just going to lose his flow. If you take into account the amount of things that have gone against him this year, Hamilton has beat him again to another championship. Russell came into the car and managed to outperform him on his first race with Mercedes. As a veteran driver with Mercedes, that must really do a whole lot to your confidence. It does the whole am I going to stay with the team? Are they going to drop me for the new kid? And I feel like he's not going to take that well, and that's really going to demote him down the order. Not P2, not P3, but P4.
Okay.
P3, I've put Perez. I feel this is controversial because this can also, like Tsunoda, this can go opposite ways. If Perez does not adapt to his new car, he could be much lower down the order. But I feel that with his speed and his talent, he's going to be able to not match Verstappen, but be behind him at least compared to Albon and Gasly. P2, I've put Verstappen, and P1, I've put Hamilton. I feel the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton will be much closer, but it still won't be enough for him to take P1. So that'll be Hamilton winning his title. So those are my driver standings. My team standings are P9, Williams. P10 Haas, because if you saw Gunter's thoughts on the new car, he really isn't confident apparently, and he's also got 2 rookies, like you said. One of them, which is a dickhead, and the other 2, which is, but the other, who is Michael Schumacher's son, but just because he has that name doesn't mean he's going to come in and win the championship. He's clearly a new driver as well. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
I don't feel that Schumacher and Mazepin will be doing much this season, so Haas will be P10. P9, I'm going to put Williams. I feel like Williams, if you saw their news articles, if you saw our Instagram, you'll see that they're going to be getting more support from Mercedes this year. So I feel like they'll definitely be able to get them jump up into to fighting for points. P8, I've put Alfa Romeo. I feel like Alfa Romeo, they're gonna improve, but it won't be enough to jump into the midfield. But more necessarily, might just be enough to fight with the back markers, which are Williams and Haas.
Yeah.
P7, I've put AlphaTauri. Obviously, if we just build on last season, they had really good moments and then they had really bad moments. I feel like it's going to be a repeat of that. And they're just going to have moments of good luck, moments of bad luck with their package. Entirely on pace, I don't think they're going to be anywhere. But they seem to have good luck, so we'll just judge off that. P6, I'm putting Alpine. Now, if Ricardo was staying with the team, I would put them up higher. But since we're taking a gamble since we're taking a gamble with Alonso, I'm going to say they're P6, mainly because, like I said before, Alonso is old. Unlike Raikkonen, who seems to show the same consistency, Alonso has just been dropping in form. If you've seen his motorsport, we've already talked about that. Basically, Alonso decline. Ocon has. I don't feel like he's that ready enough to start carrying the team yet. So P6 for Alpine. P5, I've put Aston Martin. I feel like once again they're taking a bit of a gamble with Vettel. So while he will bring some really good performances, I feel like Vettel will also bring some pretty risky moments to the team. Maybe even spinning out or crashing out. He will have his good moments, I believe, and I really want to see him do well. But we can't go denying that there will be some hairy moments at the same time, because this is a new package, a new engine, new car, new atmosphere. You just can't expect Vettel to go in and start winning races. So, and then Stroll equally is not a driver you can depend on to get consistent points finishes. So I'm going to put P5 Aston Martin. P4 I've put Ferrari. I feel while Ferrari are slow, they're consistent. In a way you can tell after the first practice session where they're going to be among the grid. I feel like they'll be maybe getting consistent P7s, P8s, and maybe that'll be enough to get them P4. And then I'm going to say there's going to be a huge gap between Ferrari and McLaren. And by saying that McLaren is going to be P3, this is because they're taking on Mercedes engines, which is by far the most dominant engine on the grid. They've also got They've also got a really good car heading into the next season. So best engine plus best car will probably mean best midfield team, or maybe even a front running team for talking massive predictions. Now, P2 I've put Mercedes. Now, that is a bit controversial, I get.
That is.
But hear me out. Hamilton is going to win his 8th title. I get that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Bottas is just not going to be able to deliver this season. I feel like he's gonna do his usual, win the first race of the season, and then I feel like he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna have some huge crash or something similar to Vettel in Germany, and then that's just gonna break his confidence. You have to understand, like I said before, Bottas is having so many factors against him that's showing that there are better opportunities, better alternatives for his seat, and that must really put him down. The fact that he's been unable to challenge Hamilton for about 4 to 5 years now is also going to put him down. I don't think he's going to be able. Adding with that, with Red Bull now being able to have 2 cars to challenge Mercedes, I don't think they'll be able to have Bottas to heavily rely and consistently bring those points. So that's that. And then I'm going to say Red Bull, obviously P1. This is because Verstappen's going to be finishing close to Hamilton, but he's not going to win the championship. But at the same time, Perez will be bringing almost the same amount of points that Max is. So add that to Bottas's decline. That's going to promote Red Bull into P1 by just a very, very small margin, because we all know Hamilton brings a lot of points to the team.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go and say my underdog is George, same as yours. Mainly because I think we're all sleeping on the fact that George is going to absolutely. We're all just sleeping on George, to be honest. If you look at his season, he's always been outperforming inconsistent and slow machinery, much more than Leclerc actually. You give him a Mercedes, and suddenly he's put it on
ridiculous.
Yeah, you give him a Mercedes, and he's literally leading the race for the majority of the Grand Prix. He's a good driver.
Yeah.
I feel like he might get another opportunity with Mercedes.
Hopefully.
If we're going with the whole Bottas decline thing, he might even get the jump to the seat maybe 2 races after the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I feel like George will be the underdog. Disappointment, like yours, it's Alonso, mainly because the guy's old. Unlike Raikkonen, he's no longer got that consistency. I'd love to see him perform. There's no doubt saying that. I'd love to see him go back and do and be just Alonso, but I think we've run out of that time period. I think we're out of. I just think it's not going to happen. My biggest rivalry. It's a bit out there, but I'm going to say Vettel and Norris. I feel like Vettel is going to be adapting to his new team. And at the same time, I feel Norris is going to finally become a threat to the midfield. He was a threat last time, but that was only when the track was sort of working with him. That was in like Austria, and like just random races where suddenly everything seemed to be going well. I feel like Norris is no longer going to rely on that sort of luck, and that he will start bringing himself as a threat to every race. Vettel, on the other hand, is going to be pretty fast. In that Aston Martin, but he will have Norris up his sleeve. Not Norris, he will have Norris behind him, being a constant pain, and I feel like those two are gonna have a bit of a fight. I had a second biggest rivalry as well, and I felt like that'd be Leclerc and Vettel. Mainly because the two saw themselves as friends, and they're still friends, but now they're in 2 different teams. And I feel like that is going to stir, because Vettel no longer has to worry about giving him enough space or making sure that both cars get to the end of the race. They are both different teams now. They both work for different organizations. It's now a case of who finishes ahead of each other. I feel like Leclerc Vettel or Vettel Norris. Saying it now, I think Leclerc and Vettel might actually be more of a fight we'd like to see. So yeah, those are my predictions. I'll put them up on screen now so you guys can have a wee second to compare. But yeah, which one surprised you the most?
I was quite surprised that we both put Fernando Alonso so far down the order, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought I was being a bit more controversial than I was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then I think you put Yuki Tsunoda P14, was it?
P14, yeah.
Yeah, which isn't too much higher than I put him, but Yeah, and then I put Kimi Räikkönen quite a bit higher than you did, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, same. I thought Raikkonen would be lower than yours.
Yeah, and I was also quite surprised you thought that Red Bull were going to win the Constructors. I mean, I would love to see it.
I'd love to elaborate on that, actually, mainly because if you saw how fast Verstappen was, and if you saw how they were improving at the end of the season, towards the end of the season, if it wasn't for Verstappen's DNFs, you can be damn right sure he would have overtook Bottas in the championship.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like because the regulations are freezing, Red Bull will have more time to work on the reliability and towards equalizing the second car, and then they will have a really good team in Verstappen and Perez to contest Mercedes. And I feel like since Mercedes are so hell bent on making making Hamilton the most successful F1 driver, I feel like they'll pay less attention to Bottas, and that will similarly trigger a domino effect and sort of solidify Red Bull into the P1 position.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
But then again, those are just predictions. And actually, if you think about it, both our predictions could be really wrong because Hamilton still hasn't signed a contract yet. So...
That is true.
So,
completely wrong.
You never know. Verstappen could be world champion. So, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me, mate. That was a fun video to film, actually.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good.
That was good fun. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, you are a legend. Because this is 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
But yeah, tune in for other uploads on this channel, and in the meantime, we'll keep you notified. I just come up with the random words on the top of my head. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.